Nothing says happy childhood to me more than Little Debbie. And oatmeal cream pie, honest to goodness, is one of my absolute favorites. This is going to be the crust of our delicious today, okay, y'all? So, yeah, I know y'all are so upset. Like, why do you have to show us the unwrap? Well, because I love that sound. That sound is part of the happiness to me, honestly, because when I was a kid, I didn't have a real easy time of it. And now that I'm a grown man, I can tear through these in no time flat. For any of you watchers out there that are Alabama Crimson Tide fans, I'd love y'all to know, you probably do already if you're a fan like me, that Nick Saban eats 2 of these every single morning with a cup of hot coffee for breakfast. And if he doesn't have his Debbie cookie, he is not the same man all day long. So this is going to be a little bit of an homage to Captain Nick Saban for as much as he's done for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. So we're going to go ahead and unwrap every single one of these guys right here, and that's going to be the start. I have not sprayed. I have not put anything on this. Some of y'all may be asking, wondering why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. I've got a lot of things in here that are going to provide the moisture and the non-stick for this the entire time, so that's not something we're going to have to worry about. We're going to cover everything that we possibly can on the bottom with these. If you got to mash them a little bit, that's fine. If you need to break them a little bit, also fantastic. Don't be shy. I'm certainly not. You want to make sure you go to the sides just as best as you can. There are no corners in the bottom of our crock pot, but if we can go ahead and just make sure that all of these little spaces are filled, we're going to be a lot better shape, trust. Beautiful. Now then, what we're going to do from here is get an entire can of cherry pie filling. I've been using a lot of cherry lately. I do enjoy cherry. This will work with any of it, but I think this one is going to be really nice when it comes right down to it. Cherry can be tart, it can be sweet, it just depends on what you add to it. And I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to be adding to it in just a minute. Tart is probably my favorite. I love lemon, I love cherry. I think it's always just such a nice thing to have. And plus, in the summertime, sometimes you don't want every single thing to be strawberry or banana cream. Great. Next up, we got a little bit of sweetened condensed milk. That's going to keep it nice and creamy. This stuff is so viscous, y'all. Now, a couple of y'all keep hollering at me about wasting. I'm going to be using my spoon here to make sure we get every drop of that goodie out of the can and into the pot, okay? I hear you. I hate wasting too. That was one of the things my mama used to always tell me. She's like, make sure that you get everything out of everything, okay? Because we can't afford to be wasting none. I said, yes, ma'am. Out of all of the wonderful lessons she's taught me, that's probably top 5. There we go. What you're going to do is just continue to just kind of like smooth that around down in the bottom. Perfect. Now then from here, we're going to take just a little bit of cinnamon. We've got a touch of it in our oatmeal cream pies, but if you add just a skosh more on the top, it'll help even out. A lot of y'all been mentioning to me about, you deal with diabetes. Maybe it's type 2, maybe it's type 1, I don't know, but you're always talking about, you can do this for you, sugar-free, you can do the other. A lot of these will have a lot of sugar in them, so what you want to make sure that you're adjusting all these recipes if you're sugar sensitive or diabetic, okay? All of these can be substituted. You know better than me. Do it. All of these work with those kind of ingredients, so please take care of you first, all right? Now then, the last thing we're going to add for this is just a little bit of chocolate. Because tell me you don't love a chocolate-covered cherry, okay? Exactly, and that's the exact same thing we got here. So all I'm going to do is use some Toll House and just sprinkle right over the top. All of our mixing's already been done. The crust is down there with those oatmeal cream pies. We've got the cherry and the condensed milk. They're going to work together to keep this nice and creamy. And then we've got that chocolate on top to make sure that it all comes together beautifully with a really nice topping. We'll see in about half an hour. All right, friends, y'all know I love it when it's easy. Everything in one pot, and even with a crock pot, it only took half an hour. Look at this. Wow. Oh my gosh, yes please. Now, one thing I do want to do before I serve it to anybody is I'm going to take this knife and I'm just going to kind of like swirl around in here so that we can get just a little bit more breakup of the chocolate. Just a little, not too much, because everything in there is just ooey and gooey and delicious and wonderful. Also, it gives me a little bit more of an idea about exactly how done we are. And I think we're great with this. This is perfect as is. I love serving it over something. I know that sounds weird, especially for a dessert, but this is something really good that you could put over like a bread pudding. Or even if you wanted something really unusual, put it over rice. Put it over a simple starch. It is so good. Plus, that extra savory underneath will help kind of counter some of the sweet. So nice. So I'm gonna take Corningware. I know a lot of y'all are gonna recognize that pattern. And I'm just gonna dip up a little bit of this, just so you get to see all of this delicious, squishy goodness. Oh, yeah. I love a messy dessert. I love a messy anything, quite frankly. Folks like, well, that just looks like a pile of whatever. I was like, let me tell you something. Just because it doesn't match your idea of beautiful doesn't mean it isn't absolutely outstanding. So she's a little hot, but I'm gonna take a chance. Y'all be careful with this, all right? You don't want to lose the skin on top of your mouth. Just right. I was a little nervous it was going to be too sweet because of that cherry. The condensed milk really makes it perfect. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.